Hi, and welcome to the Headspace cooking exercise. So it's hard to imagine a better opportunity to apply mindfulness to an everyday activity. So when we're in the kitchen, we're surrounded by smells, by textures, by sounds, and these are all opportunities to train the mind. So ordinarily, we might be busy doing something with our hands in the kitchen, and yet at the same time thinking about a conversation we had earlier in the day, or perhaps thinking ahead to something in the future. So this is an opportunity to put down all of that thinking, to leave the past behind, not to drift off to the future, and instead be present with the very act of cooking itself. And when we do that, it not only becomes a more enjoyable experience, but we have a much greater appreciation for the food that we cook and the food that we eat. Now, before you actually begin cooking, just take a moment to sit down, preferably on an upright chair, and just take a couple of nice big deep breaths, breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. As you breathe through the nose, you're focusing on the chest expanding, the lungs filling with air. As you breathe out through the mouth, just noticing how the body softens, how the muscles soften with each exhalation. Just take a couple more breaths like that. And with the next out breath, if you haven't done already, you can just gently open the eyes again, standing up very clear as to what you need to do, the order that things need to be done in. You need to turn on the oven. And then beginning with the preparation of the food itself. So as you begin to prepare the food, let's say it's some vegetables, for example. As you cut the food, noticing, paying special attention to the way it looks, the way it sounds, the way it smells. You almost don't need to do this in any special way. You don't have to do it especially slowly. You may like to, but you don't need to. It's quite possible to be focused, attentive, and curious whilst going at your usual speed. But curiosity is the key. So if you can be curious in what you're doing, in the food, then you're going to be naturally present with it. It doesn't require any effort at all. Genuine curiosity. We're just happy. We're interested in the process for its own sake, not for any kind of result. So just continuing to prepare the food in that way. As I say, there may be one particular sense. It might be sound of the knife chopping. It might be the smell beginning to become more apparent as the food is cut into. It might be the texture of the food in your hands. Or it may be the sight, the different colours, the different shapes. Again, you can choose one particular sense to focus on if you like to, or it can be a broad awareness where it just moves from one to the other. The important thing to remember with this is that you don't really need to do anything special. It's simply not being distracted. The moment you realize that the mind's wandered off, just coming back, aware of what you're doing, present, in that act of preparation of cooking. So having chopped up, let's say, your vegetables, got them ready for the pan, just turning on the gas, the electricity, and listening for a moment. Especially if it's gas, you're gonna hear the flame. You might even like to look at it. Just taking a moment to heat up the oil. Again, usually when we're cooking, there are moments in the process where we sort of almost give ourselves permission to check out. It's like it's not very interesting, there's not much happening, so we tend to just think about something else. But with this exercise, even those moments, just using it as an opportunity to pause, feel the hand, the sensation of the pan in our hand, to smell the oil, to hear it before putting the vegetables in and beginning to move them around. Again, immediately the sound is so obvious. It almost comes before any smell. Just being present with that. Probably now the awareness will shift from sound to smell to sight. It might be the texture of the spoon against the skin, the weight of it in the hand. But just take a minute or two now just to focus on all those different senses. Anytime the mind wanders off, just gently bringing the attention back again. And as you continue to move the food around in the pan, just noticing what the emotional quality of the mind is like at this moment, whether there's a lot of desire, wanting to consume the food, to eat it, a lot of impatience, wanting it to be ready sooner, quicker, wanting to get on, or whether actually in the mind there's a sense of ease, of relaxation, of not being in a hurry, just content to wait until that exact moment when it's ready, you can serve it up and enjoy focusing on the taste of the food. So useful as you're going through the process to see how the emotion can sometimes lead our action, how it can make us hurry things, to miss things out or to skip over things in our desire, our haste to actually consume the food. And by doing that, how perhaps sometimes we don't always appreciate the food itself or the process of preparing it and cooking it. So all that's left to do now is to serve the food up and to move on to the best part of all, and that's tasting it. I'll leave you with that, and I hope you enjoy your meal.